Good evening and welcome to another Supernautus stream with me, Supernautus. Today we're playing, as you can see, Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. It's the director's cut. This is kind of a classic in the kind of adventure genre, I guess, coming out in sort of the 90s thereabouts, with a really interesting kind of storyline, you know, a kind of conspiracy theory, if you like. There's an American journalist, The American abroad in Paris, with journalist Nico. So we'll start this, we'll play this game. I've not played the director's cut version of Broken Sword before. This could be quite interesting, could be surprising, but let's get going and let's get started and let's see how this differs from the original.
Paris. City of love, romance,
Paris.
and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too. But ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death.
Revolution Games. Should we pronounce all the names in like a silly French sort of way? Or does the game do enough of that already? I don't know. Let's see. I hope the image doesn't look too bad. Obviously, we have quite an old game playing on a fairly modern sort of setup, so let's hope that it runs smoothly. Let's hope we don't have any major issues. I'm sure we'll be fine. In terms of running things on potatoes.
I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon.
You got an interview.
Yes,
Huh?
the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why.
Well,
Anyhow, this could be
Uh-huh.
big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
smile and say yes. That's
So charming.
I don't think
and
that would
so
fly these
very
days.
Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away.
Ah, the mime. The evil
Here
mime.
I was,
The ever
the
evil.
palace of the
mime.
media king and the ice queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yes.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her
Yes.
reputation.
It has been a while since playing the game, and I
Will you be staying
feel
for
like
the
this
interview?
scene's extra.
Mademoiselle,
Like the director's
I know
cut
little of
starting
my
early.
husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty. You're too kind, madame.
I don't think she was being kind, do you?
The talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre.
Oh, I'm
please.
sure you are.
But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So
yeah.
tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again.
That looked like a priceless
Another Ming
vase.
vase, I suppose.
The Ming Dynasty.
Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
You journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame.
lives.
That was no cat.
And now somebody's dead.
God, what? Monsieur Carson!
He's hitting everybody. And he wasn't even miming it. It wasn't like he was punching air or punching a wall, you know.
He's dead.
He
I must
actually
call the
punched a
police.
person.
You'd better stay here.
And I don't think he mimed shooting
There
that
was a
either.
man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No
Well, I
wonder
don't
they
know.
called her the Ice Queen.
Maybe he was there to
She
try and
would
save
have
him
been
when he
top
saw him
on my
committing
list of
suicide.
suspects. If I hadn't seen the attacker myself.
The chances of that are pretty
And
slim.
if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own
Well,
investigation?
Should you?
It was a no-brainer.
Okay. So here we have a body on the ground, as you can see. And we have some information on how the game works, how the game runs. So let's delve into that a little. As you can see, the briefcase icon, we click on that, opens our inventory. It'll display all the objects that we're carrying. Whether they're all useful, we'll not know. Although generally, if you can pick something up in this game, it's going to be useful. The diary icon accesses your diary. The question mark will give you hints and interface help. Hopefully we won't need many of those. And the spanner icon saves and restores the game and adjusts your settings. Those icons can all be found in the lower section of the screen. As you can see. Et voila, as they might say in France. So let's have a look at the corpse.
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across
Really?
this murderer before.
I thought
and
that
written
all
about
mimes
him.
were
The
violent
costume
murderers.
killer. At least that's what I'd called him.
Disclaimer there: if you are a mime, I'm very sorry. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're a very nice person. But you know, I don't know any mimes.
A bust of
Prove me
Pierre
wrong.
Cochon, humble servant of La France.
So yeah, humble servant of La France. And the window shows us little, but
A small round
circle
piece of
cut.
glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job.
You sure he just wasn't lucky? He got lucky and made a perfect circle.
I
in the wall.
didn't want to cut myself and leave blood on the glass. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to keep my DNA to myself.
That sounds old-fashioned and perhaps even slightly boring. Who's this bust of?
Pierre Cochon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room.
His eyes following her around the room. Let's hope it's not. I mean, look, if we kind of hover there, is that his eye following me around the room? Maybe it is. Let's hope not, because that's pretty scary. So I think I think the obvious route here is we've looked at this. We've looked at this. So surely it's time for us to walk through the door and advance into the world. Escape down the drain pipe before the police get here, maybe.
The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
So that's all. He folded the ladder up and put it in his pocket. And he ran away with it. Because he didn't want anyone else climbing up buildings. Excuse me while I just adjust a couple of settings. I'm just going to put you on quiet time for a moment. Sorry, just updating my stream so that I'm not suggesting that I'm playing a game that I'm not. Because we're clearly not playing Diablo 3. So here we are, Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, in case you've just joined me. And here we stand with Nico Collard. Now I'm sure when we first, when I first played this game, this sequence, I don't remember this sequence.
Pierre Cachon was stiff for the last
I think
time.
this is definitely new. Now, we found his body. Let's see if we can see any interesting items. Like this.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It
Did
must
you
have
get my hair
fallen
clip?
when I was knocked down.
Did he steal it? So there we go. To use your inventory item on a background object, click on the item and hold the mouse button. While continuing to hold it, drag the item over a hotspot and release it when it highlights with a gold outline. Now I don't know, does this have... Oh, it does have something.
No.
It has something that we can't actually do. Can we poke him in the eyes?
No.
No. She doesn't want to poke him in the eyes. She might find out some very important things if she pokes him in the eyes. She's unwilling to do so. And I say that is a shame. Surely poking him in the eyes would be
I closed his eyes.
interesting.
It was the least I could do for the poor fellow.
No, you could have. We've said what you could have done. Shall we also
Some people
close his
hate
jacket?
fetching
No.
corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay
Close
with
his
it.
eyes.
Reminds me of an old boyfriend.
Show off the blood, and he's got a cheesy Whatsit there. In America, you might think of it as a Cheeto. See, just a cheesy Whatsit, just lying on the ground next to him. I know cheesy Whatsit's a funny name, but that's what they call them in Britain. We do have Cheetos as well, but everyone just likes cheesy Whatsits. So let's have a look.
In his pocket,
It's not
I
one.
found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now.
No going back,
Carchon had been shot.
as it should be. Really, he was shot, guys. I would never have guessed. Do you know, it's quite surprising. I did not know that. Anyway, I think we've exhausted all the possibilities with Carchon. And so, we have no more to do in this room, other than head towards the pointing finger.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them.
Somewhere there were clues to the murder. So that's my Scottish accent coming in. It doesn't sound like...
A Louis XIV table with an antique cloth. Imelda had taste. But hey, with a husband that rich, taste is easy.
Well, I don't know. You know, not everyone that has money has taste. Lining walls with gold. We won't discuss names. Names are unimportant here. So here we have a handkerchief. Very nicely embroidered handkerchief. We're going to steal it.
I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
Because not content with being a journalist,
Even my
They're also
fingernail
thieves.
wouldn't fit into such a small hole.
I'm not touching that joke, guys. I'm not touching that joke about small holes. Let's have a look at the painting that someone was doing. Was this Carchon?
Imelda had talent, but I
No,
certainly
apparently
wasn't
not.
going to tell her that.
Not very friendly.
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine. Just the colour I was after for my bathroom.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
sorry,
sure
I
that,
have to go. Someone is...
Small tube of paint will do what you need it to do.
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this paint. It's my favourite colour.
Well, you
For
can't
God's
have
sake,
it.
keep the damn stuff.
For God's sake. Oh my goodness. You can't just leave my stuff alone. My husband barely cold in the ground. And you want my paint? Sorry, that was a terrible
Aha.
accent.
Nico,
And I
you
should
are
be
just so damn
ashamed.
good at this stuff.
Ashamed. What's this thing?
Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was
'Cause I'm
something going on here,
you know,
and I had to get answers before the cops
dirt
arrived. And hey,
seeking
she'd been rude
journalist.
to me, so she had it coming.
What exactly is it? It's a thing.
A key. Maybe a safe key.
It's just a key. Well, it's not a very safe key now because we've got it. And you know, I don't think we were supposed to. But you know, safe key, c'est la vie. So now we must comfort the grieving widow that we don't like. So why should we comfort her? Well, because it's the good thing to do. Hello.
Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
I would like to know about your
I am
husband.
so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Indeed we shall. Can you tell me anything more?
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you
I
anything.
have no idea.
No. And frankly, I preferred it that way.
She preferred not to discuss business. We'll not discuss her objectives in life, for I'm not sure what they are.
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Thierry Collard?
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
See, she strikes me as a slightly jealous person.
Why would a mime want to
Why
kill
would
your
a mime
husband?
want to kill her husband?
Pierre
Well,
had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in
mime.
Paris for a start. This is quite a
if he
scoop
didn't give
for
him any
you.
money,
I suppose
maybe
you're
he told him he
already
wasn't
inventing
walking
the
hard enough
headlines.
into the wind.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronise me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
I believe you're insulting me.
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if my editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family.
I have no family.
Pierre and I were. He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing,
Sounds
madame.
like she has no
What?
regrets
If
whatsoever.
you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
Because I'm an
Your
angel.
husband invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong. I was onto his killers
Oh,
already.
yeah.
I am
Aye, aye.
sure of it. Please,
Nudge,
you
nudge.
owe it
Wink,
to
wink.
him.
I don't know.
Say no more.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people.
Well, don't
and
trust me,
perhaps
my
Pierre
goodness.
really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you too. Here,
Well,
take this.
it might have.
It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's
That's
room.
a big mouthful of a
I
sentence.
rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Headless corpses. Shrunken
Thank you.
heads.
I promise you won't regret this.
She will. She will regret it. Is this the door she was talking
I
about?
thought of leaving, but was sure there was more to find.
No, this isn't the door she was talking about. Is it next to the door we just came out of? Is this really as fast as you can walk? Come on. Come on, run. That's the room we just came from? Yes, that's the room where the dead man is. So this must be the room she was suggesting we enter. The drawing room.
A fine Baroque door. It would look great in my apartment.
That's great. Now open it. You have the key.
Now we were
Allons-y.
getting somewhere.
We have a light switch.
I
guess it's
didn't
a
need
light
the
switch.
lights on. It was light enough already.
But what if there's a secret message hidden in black light? I wouldn't see
The
it 'cause it's
painting
light
showed the
bulbs.
Cachons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
There's a button on the side.
There was the very faintest of clicks.
Did that do anything? Not anything visible. Let's have a look at the table.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision.
Had they? Or did they just put them down?
I didn't want to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it.
You could use it to fight somebody, like smash them in the head with the tray. Looks like it's quite heavy. We've got like a blotter, ledger.
I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank.
She doesn't need it because it's not blank, there's no ink on it, you know, all the rest. We've got an elephant.
My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant.
Oh.
It had been made by my father.
Oh, well,
I
there
knew
you
for
go.
certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin. Carved into a box he had made. So Cauchon
So remember,
had
folks,
known my father. They really must have been friends. I decided to
carved
take the
elephants
carved
are important.
elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Imelda.
And apparently we enjoy stealing carved elephants. Which, you know, it's still theft. We're still, let's be honest, we're ransacking a crime scene here. Guys, we are ransacking a crime scene. So this picture
Behind the picture was a
did do
safe.
something. Oh, it's a safe. I don't, there's a keyhole. Oh, now that key, she did say she thought might be for a safe, didn't she? So does that open this? Or am I going to need...
The safe was locked. I needed the key.
Yeah, is that not the key? It is. But surely... Okay, so there's a combination on it and a key. Why do you need both a combination and a key? And what is this? Some sort of barnacle-soaked wood?
In the safe was some kind of artifact.
Yeah,
There
let's
were
call it an
strange
artifact. That works
symbols
for me.
on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned
Strange
about
symbols.
symbols, they are always important. But these symbols
depends what the
scratched
symbol
into
is,
stone were
surely. Is it
impossible to
important?
read. I needed to find a way of printing them.
Is
At
every
least
symbol
the stone
important?
was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print
Paint.
on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Cauchon was past caring.
Well, he might be looking down at you right now saying, "No! Don't steal my rolling pin!" Is it a rolling pin, do you think? I don't really know. So we got like a blotting pad on the table. I guess if we pour ink on the blotting pad, use paint on the blotting pad, because it's the only thing we've got that you could maybe make an impression on.
The paint would have just soaked into the blotting paper, but the idea was good.
Yeah. What? But okay, so it's not that.
I didn't need a sheet of blotting.
What do we have? Oh, I suppose. What about this? Can we put that down on it?
No.
No, it's too nice. We can't use the nice thing. Cannot use the nice thing. What about just rolling this?
The blotter was flat already. Rolling the cylinder across it would achieve nothing.
I'm thinking we're on the right track.
It was a sheet of blotting paper in a leather holder. Its cracked surface looked ancient. Reminded me of its owner.
Oh. What about the tray? Can you put paint in the tray? Yeah, given the cutscene, I would assume you can.
I'd spread blue paint over the bottom of the tray. It was ruined. I was a very
ruined.
bad girl, but also quite a clever
You
one.
shall be punished by the mime. Okay, so the paint's there. Can we use this on the paint now? So we roll the roller. And it gets covered in paint. And we've ruined a...
I rolled the artifact
Ancient
in
artifact.
the paint until it was completely coated.
That kind of looks a little bit like the like handkerchief type thing that we've
An
had.
antique tray with paint spread all over it. Not a lot I could do with that.
Well, you can look at it. It's got an impression on it. Right, so now we've covered the ancient artifact in paint. Let's roll it on the paper.
Genius.
Oh, that's such a lovely
The
noise.
roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say?
It says, "You are stealing from history, you thief."
It was some kind of coded message.
Sub
It read,
judice.
subjudice. I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense. I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket
Always
was
the coded
stamped
messages.
Bateau de la Conciergerie. The
It's like a
conciergerie
game about
on the Ile de la
cryptography, you
Cité,
know?
by the river, housed the ancient
Where
law
some
codes.
crazy person has
So,
created these puzzles.
subjudice could, in this case, mean literally under the law codes, below
But
the
sometimes they're really
conciergerie.
obvious.
I
Let's
was
go into the
pretty sure I'd
sewers.
found all I could
The
here.
catacombs in
And
this case,
besides,
because it is Paris.
all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just
She's
remember
gonna
the
crack
name
it,
of that
guys.
fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
She's going to win the prize. She's going to win the Pulitzer Prize, I guess, or whatever the French variant in the Broken Sword world is. Who knows? Do you know? I don't know. It tries to be kind of like reality. So I guess probably the same, you know, the Pulitzer. Or maybe there's a better European variant of it. Sometimes a prize is just a prize because everybody wants it.
Did you find anything useful?
And that's why everyone knows
This
what it
carving.
is.
Do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend. Something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No. But I think it
Something
was important
to do with
him.
Africa.
Always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father,
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Imelda.
So that's why we're stealing
will do
it, 'cause it was
everything I
carved
can
by
to
her
find the
father.
killer.
Thank
Everything
you,
that was
my dear.
carved by
And
her
if
father,
the police ask,
Don't worry.
we
You
need
were
to
never
steal,
here.
apparently.
subjudice was the key. I was going to have to find
to
a way
steal
under
everything.
the conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the conciergerie, it would have to be from there.
That's some pretty circular reasoning. She's just decided it must be here. It has to be in this place because
Canchon wasn't
reasons.
the type for messing about on the river.
My
he was up
reasons.
to something down here. Something that got him killed.
Something got him killed. What it was, we will have to find out. So we've got a gate. She's really slow. Like really slow. I don't remember her being. I don't
The
remember
fence
any of the
wouldn't
characters
move.
being this slow. What about this gate? Yeah, I totally don't remember these sequences in the original game. I'm sure you just
This
started the
fence
game
wouldn't move
with
either.
George in the cafe with the angry policeman. No? Apparently it's changed. It is the director's cut after all. Maybe they felt this scene didn't add anything to the game.
I tried pushing the fence, but it wouldn't move.
The fence doesn't move when you push it.
A strange pair of locks stopped the latches from releasing the gate.
Did I need to find 2 keys? Let's have a look. Let's see what these locks look like. They might be impressive. Oh, look at this. Move the rectangular blocks so the latch can slide all the way across. So releasing the gate to open. Blocks move along their length, some vertically, some horizontally. It's like that game where you have to like park cars. Which, you know, is alright for a few minutes enjoyment on your phone or whatever. So hopefully it's something that's fairly straightforward. I don't think we do that, that's a bad start. But maybe... No, see, that doesn't help anyone. That's just silly. We don't like silliness here. Okay, so we need to slot that into there in order to move the puzzle pieces. Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if you could move them over the lock. But you can. You can move them over the lock. So what good will that do me, though? Wait. So we did that. Moved that into the way there. And we cleared a path? Did we clear the path? So yeah, that's the only thing we can move. But what moves there? If that moves, it blocks this. And surely we want this out the way and that out the way. Move this part. And presumably we move these two across. Positioning wise, they kind of make sense. I think. And the only other ones that can move are those. Ah, yes. And then if we move this across, this will give us... This will give us a beginning. And I guess we move these out the way. Do these then come across? To give us all the way? Yeah, that would make sense. Get them all the way across. Get that up there. Pull this across. And then that just blocks the way again. Does it block the way? If we move it there. Oh, well. Yeah, because we want this whole section clear, don't we? Because then we can move that up there. Maybe. Where was that? That was here. Move this back here. Move this the rest of the way. Move that one up. That one across. Move up these two. Yeah, I'm really not sure what I'm doing. I'm really not sure what I'm doing. Because, oh, well, wait. We've cleared some space there. Which should get us rid of this. And that.
Yes.
And we've
One
unlocked
down.
it.
One to go.
Et voila. So we unlocked one lock. If the other lock's anything like that, it might take some time to get this open. Oh, let's have a look. Well, oh. So we already know how we do the puzzle. We move the blocks. As I say, it's like that car parking game. You park the cars and, you know, you move on to the next level and blah blah blah. Just a series of boring puzzles, one after the other, aren't they? People like them somehow. People like them. So let's see. So there's a gap there that they can't move into. It's a little bit more difficult, I would say. Then again, maybe not. Maybe not. Once you know how to do it, it becomes much, much easier after all. Move that. Move this. I don't know. It's difficult because you're just moving the thing back and forward, back and forward. Just always back and forward. Constantly. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. feel like I've done something wrong. I don't really know. You know that feeling when you start doing it and then you think maybe I've completely messed it up. Well, I have that feeling right now, but it might be unjustified. Let's continue on and try as hard as we can, I guess. Move this back to this position. Get this out the way. If we move that one there, we can get rid of this one. And this one can go up here. And we've unlocked the gate.
Nothing like a good convent education for honing your lockpicking skills.
And I don't really think those are lockpicking skills. That's just insane. Just silliness. And you know, it makes me wonder. I know that it's probably an older type of puzzle than I'm aware of. But you know, those kinds of games, it makes me wonder, when they say this is like a director's cut of the game, have they redone the puzzles for like a later
The cross
era?
looked familiar. I'd seen it before. It was embroidered on the lace cloth I'd picked up at Carchon's apartment. I knew I was on the right track.
So we are on the right track.
For a room full of junk, that was
We're not on
one
easy
very
street, guys.
sophisticated lock system.
Not
this
today.
place was definitely fishy.
Not any day, maybe.
In more ways
Not if we're
than
playing
one.
this. So what do we have? We have a boat that's not going to be taken anywhere for a long time. It's so light, in
Oops.
fact, that we can just push it over. And push it over we shall. So now that it's pushed over, now that we've knocked it
Moving
down.
the skiff would only damage it more.
Well, you know, you say it would damage it more, but I don't really think damaging it more would
I
do
really
that much
didn't
harm.
want to pull the fence back up and risk trapping myself in this place.
Yeah, you'd be stuck for ever and ever. Oh, there's something. The only thing I don't like is the game likes to do this flashing thing. Hey, look at me, look at me. I'm a thing you can pick up. It kind of takes away from the feeling of hopelessness.
An old shell case. I wondered what that was doing there.
Well, I would guess that someone shot something there. You know, that's just a rough estimate of what was going on.
The words sinister and Dexter
Just so you don't, in
were
case you don't know,
carved
that's
on
left
either
and right.
side. Now any good convent girl like me knows the old Roman for left, right, left, right. But what did it mean here?
I guess we'll never know. Well, we will, because we're gonna try and work it out. So yeah, left and right. In case you didn't know that, yeah, the left side of things obviously came from Sinistra, which is sinister. Do you know that that's why years ago in some areas, if a child was born left-handed, they would tie their hand behind their back and make them write with their right hand. I think everyone knows that. Anyone who doesn't, I'm you know, glad to kind of illuminate you a little bit on that. But that's why the reason people were forced to do that was because of the word sinister and its connotation with the devil. So yeah, anyone that was left-handed, they were the son of the devil. I'm left-handed. I don't know if I'd agree with that assumption, but well. So, but all we're doing here, there's just a hole.
The hole was too small even for my little hand.
It was too small even for her hand. Can we put a shell casing in there? No. That's too small. Maybe. I don't know. That's kind of round. Will that go in? And it's got like kind of gears on it, hasn't
Mystery
it? The
solved.
patterns.
Carchon's stone cylinder slotted into the hole with a satisfying click.
The satisfying click. So we have the fleur de lis arrow type. The design. Only for design, not decision. Okay, so. But what do we have?
Rolling out the painted cylinder had given me a print of a
So
secret
this was
message.
what we did when we
It
rolled
read,
the roller, and the roller's in here.
"Subjudice."
It would make some
Below it was a
sense
sequence of letters.
for the roller to be
SDSS,
tied into this.
DSS.
SD, SS, DSS, she said. So that would be Sinister Dexter, Sinister Sinister, Dexter, Sinister Sinister. Or left, right, left, left, right, left, left. I can't say that any faster, my head would explode. So yeah, so left. No, yes, maybe. Left.
A satisfying click told me I turned it to the right position. It felt like tumblers in a safe.
I don't know how she's feeling it. She's got her hands inside the stones. So it was left, right.
Another click. Another step closer.
Then it was left, left. Left. Right, left, left. Wasn't it? I hope I've not forgotten. Yeah.
I love the sound of locks clicking open.
I mean, the puzzle was a little obvious there, wasn't it? You know, once you realised that you could put the cylinder in, it had to do with the rolled out paint. So now I wonder how long this place has stood empty. Here we have the interview and a rundown of kind of what's happened so far. Someone has gone to great lengths to protect something. But what is it? Okay, so we've got a cross here, which again, it's flickering, it's doing that blue flash. I mean, all that tells us is where we'll find something. It doesn't tell us what we actually have to do there, so I guess it's not too bad.
Oh my god! The slab came down with a hell of a force.
Oh, what have I done?
With nothing to hold it up, the cross dropped back.
Should I not be keeping the things? Can I get that out of there? I don't want to leave it behind. It looks like it might be a priceless artifact.
Cylinder.
And I have a sneaking suspicion we might need it again. Okay, so this came out when we pulled the
panel
cross down.
wouldn't move.
It came out when we pulled the cross down, didn't it?
The panel was firmly closed.
It's firmly closed now, though, guys. But if we hold on to this cross, whatever kind of cross it is,
Lifting the cross closed the
see, that
entrance door
opens.
and also opened some kind of stone panel. Ingenious.
So it opens the stone panel, but as soon as I let go of this cross, it's going to close, isn't it? Yeah.
If I was going to get a closer look at the panel, I'd have to find a way of keeping the cross up.
So let's manhandle the cross again. Oh, my hand. Sorry. I don't know what's gonna make a difference. What the hell do we not need a shell casing for? Okay. Right, so oh well. Can we put it? Does it do anything if we put it? on the ground. Everything else seems like something we're going to need. We don't want the wooden elephant, unless we can break the elephant and get something out of it. Does that actually... this idea actually have any worth? Squished. Looks like it's squished, guys. I don't know what use a squished shell casing is.
The stone slab had flattened one end of the shell case.
It flattened one end of the shell case. Let's have a look at it. Yeah. It's a weird shaped shell casing now. But how... would that help us in any way? Does that help? Okay, so we're lifting the cross again.
The cross looked familiar. I'd seen it before.
She'd seen it before. We just saw it about 2 seconds ago. Okay, can we jam the cross? Yeah.
The stone cross was propped up. Now I was getting somewhere.
Okay, so we've managed to keep that door open, which will let us have a look at this.
I touched the slot. Nothing bad happened, which was good. I've always been attached to my fingers. This slot was designed for something specific. But what?
You can touch that joke if you want, but I won't.
A round slot precisely carved into the stonework.
Round slots in this place obviously mean this. Surely. But I have to admit that the size of the hole makes me think this thing's a lot smaller than it looked in the safe.
Behind the old walls, I could hear some kind of mechanism groaning into life, but whatever had been triggered had now jammed.
It's been triggered, guys. It's been triggered.
I removed the shell case.
And
the
down.
cross didn't drop back down. Some kind of mechanism was holding it up.
Well, why wasn't it holding up before? What, it needed a small piece of bent metal to hold it open in order for it to catch? I mean, what? That makes no sense.
The gap was too thin for me to get a grip. I needed something thin enough to prise the door open.
Something thin to prise the door open. A hair clip? I know these games are silly, but...
I was going to need something a lot stronger than a hair clip to free the door.
Something stronger than a hair clip. 2 hair clips? An elephant. An elephant's quite strong. Don't shrug your shoulders at me. Would it work or not? Have you tried?
It was a boat ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. When I was a little girl, Papa used to take me on the Bateau Mouche as a treat.
That sounds like a treat, doesn't it, guys? Well, boats are quite nice, I suppose. Did I just lose that? No, she shrugged her shoulders again. Okay, well, what then? The shell casing, it was quite useful. Oh, it looks like, yeah. It is good, you know. It is a good thing in this game, I think, that
Another good use for a shell case.
Items don't just have a single use.
Somebody had something to hide.
Because a lot of these games, you know, I mean, the item has a single use. You use it once, it
for?
disappears from your inventory, and you never see it again. So let's see what's through the door. It's dark, guys. Oh, there's a flashing light there. And some tables.
Wow. Through the darkness, I could see that this was a stateroom. But for what purpose? And how
She
did
can see
it
more
tie
than I
in with
can.
Carchon?
But then she's in the room. I'm not in the room. Okay, so what is here? Anything interesting? No. What was that light we saw flickering over to the right? Well, it must be something because it's got a blue circle around it. It's full of the blue circles!
Amazing. The thing still worked.
Oh, well, that was a good
The
idea.
room lit up bright as day.
So the room is lit now, which means we'll get to see all of this crazy stuff that's been hidden away for goodness knows how long. Centuries, do you think? Whose face is that? Do we think it's Napoleon?
I wasn't going to find anything in this old desk. It hadn't been used for years.
I don't think you're going to find a brand new desk. We've got some things there. Let's have a look at the desks. Oh look, this is this. You know, sometimes you play a game and you look at the scenery, and you see a piece of scenery that just looks like it obviously does something. I feel like this piece of scenery obviously does something. To the shading around the drawer makes you know that it obviously
Inside
opens.
the drawer, I found a note written in some kind of code.
She found a note. A coded note. Can we look at it? See, now guys, you probably don't have to be like a major expert on cryptography, but substitution ciphers, symbols representing letters, and match the symbols to their letters by highlighting a symbol and the corresponding letter. I think we probably need a bit more information though to really get this. Let's see what else is in the room first. That obviously is something important.
It was pretty clear from the lack of dust that someone had been working very
My
recently
French is pretty
at this
rusty,
desk.
guys. So I don't really know what any of this says. Pourquoi les autorités ne reconnaissent pas le crime du tueur de Guise? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm afraid I haven't done French in a long time, but la police n'est tout rapport avec les tueurs de Guise. If I remember rightly, these are criminals in disguise, murderers. Yeah, tuer, that's to kill, isn't it? The murderers in disguise, disguised as mimes, and they're all the same. Tuer déguisé, le justicier du 21e siècle, 21st thing. And then we got something about exclusive. Two assassins in Rome and Tokyo. With a disguised killer, simple coincidence, or murderers on Syrie. Are they serial killers? Well, therein lies the question. We've also got some pictures of me. Now she said it was her father, so maybe that's okay, but he's taking pictures of us when he could just come over and say hi.
Oh my god. The sheet was a printout with my personal information.
Or is this where the criminals are hiding?
Everything from my favorite food to my waist size. They were right
Sorry about my
about
French
chocolate.
accents,
But
by the
come
way.
on, guys. I'm a size 10. There was even a picture of me, taken with a telephoto lens. Carchon wouldn't have taken these pictures himself. This was big and organized.
Why wouldn't he have
I
taken
was
them
part of
himself?
it. And people were getting
Don't see
murdered.
why not. He has probably plenty of spare time. Okay, so we found out some information. Find some information. Oh, do you know, we can actually look at these stories. Maybe it'll translate it for me.
This was the article I'd written about the costume killer. My suspicions were right.
It won't.
Cauchon had cut it out. 2 businessmen had been killed. One in Italy, one in Japan. In each case, the killer had worn a costume. A penguin, and then a snowman. But that
It's,
wasn't the
the
only
penguin
link
and Mr.
between the 2
Freeze.
murders. Both the victims had been
Mime.
big media do-gooders.
See the
And
Joker?
I proved they were just the opposite.
This isn't Batman,
So,
guys. Let's not
how did
turn
they
Broken
fit in
Sword
with
into
Cauchon?
Batman. Well, it obviously fit in with him somehow. We've got a mug, and for some reason the mug is something we have to look at. Looks pretty uninteresting.
The dregs at the bottom of the mug hadn't dried out or gone mouldy. It
Oh.
wasn't more than a day old.
Someone's been drinking a mug of fluids recently.
My articles about the costume killer.
All of her articles about the costume killer. She has 4. 4 in total. Considering that she didn't even know there was a costume killer until about an hour ago, when Cauchon got killed, it does make me wonder how she can come to these conclusions. Alas, let's continue. Let's leave. We've looked at the articles. They are about the costume killer, or le tueur déguisé. The costume killer, the killer in costume. So, we got that message. We got that cipher, which we obviously need to decipher by attaching letters to the correct position. Now, I noticed this has the alphabet below, so it has all the different letters, and it has them aligned kind of near each other. Now, I'm guessing this isn't the right order, that would be far too easy. You can always click go back to step back, or reset it by clicking reset. I don't know where these buttons are, but let's see. Oh, here we go. So this is your reset, and this is to go back. Now, the first thing you usually do in these kinds of ciphers, because it's obviously substituting letters with symbols, is that you need to find things like double letters. Double letters are always useful, because double letters always kind of tell you it's going to be S, it's going to be E, O, N, F. Now, E's can be quite a useful one to look for, because obviously usually the one that's got more E's, or more letters should I say, is probably the letter E. Or it could be T as well, by the way. T and E actually are... See, it's not an easy thing to decipher. It's not an easy thing to decipher at all. You also have to look at how many letters are attached. So, in this situation, unless that word's something like poo, well, it could be in, could be all, could be a girl's name, Anne, without an E at the end, could be. See, looking at the longer words, sometimes people think that's a good idea. The trouble with the longer words is that there's more words it could be. Let's try L being these kind of backward E's. Okay. So now this is I or A. Ill or all. I've got another L word, double L word. This might take me the rest of the evening, guys. It might take me the rest of the evening. Well, let's just try vowels in these locations and see if they make sense. So that's that weird kind of... almost like a dinosaur turning its head. That's what we're going to describe these in a way that makes sense to us. So it's a dinosaur turning its head. all, any, and I mean, it doesn't really help us, does it? So that's not all. That's not got an E in it. We're kind of making an assumption about letters here, I think, aren't we? I think the letter you really want to find is one of the most commonly used letters, you know, like E. So let's have a quick look and see what's used quite regularly. We've got 2 of those, 3. Sorry, it's hard to think. That's 4. I'm almost forgetting which shape we're looking at. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a double letter as well. 10, 11, doubled more than once. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 times that letter appears, whatever that letter is. 19. Is there anything else that even appears even close to as many times? Let's try E as the N with a little foot sticking out. No, not the U. The N. Okay. So there's a word there with EA in the middle, and the same word at either end. Well, we're assuming it's EA in the middle because who knows? How many words have EA in the middle that begin and end with the same letter? Rear, deed, no, dead, of course. Dead could be the one. Do these letters appear anywhere else near an E? D, hard to say. D, we're looking at the U shape being D. It's not enough information. Is it D? Could be D. Dead. Dead. Rear. Let's try dead. No, not C. Strange choice. That's that one. So dead. I would expect that's got to be and. So N is a kind of W with bits missing out of it. It's been erased. And that kind of makes sense. I mean, that word's pretty much completed. So I is the kind of capital N. Well, this could be. Look, this has got like a comma or full stop, as if it's maybe a name, a title, and it's French. I mean, it stands to reason that it's probably the letter R, which means this has to be P. Pierre. Something. Rep. Something. Well, that letter appears doubled quite a lot. And there's... It has to be O. And that's a T. That's got to be report. Surely. So O is like that weird... kind of weird thing. Which means that is T. Which, what is that? It's like a diagonal line with an eye. It's an eye. It's a face from one angle. Or it's a 2 with an arm sticking out of it. So that's T. I think. Where's that symbol? Can anyone see that symbol? There it is. Just there. Pierre something. Report to Olo that to rent to 8 Arno and Ada ought dead to I not a coincidence. This one. Sorry guys, I'm hoping this isn't too slow and too kind of boring. I think we're almost there. We've almost covered it. So far, everything kind of makes some sense. That's got to be danger, really, hasn't it? It could be dancer or in dancer, but it can't because that's definitely coincidence. There's no doubt that that's coincidence. So G is like the kind of U sideways with a line through it. Not sideways, kind of, you know, angled at like 45 degrees. Something are in danger. Take great care. It's like a 0. Take great care. Someone. It's got to be an initial, but you know, who's in it? What initial? Could it be S? Would that be too obvious? Would that be too on the nose, do you think? Pierre. Something report to someone. Nit to in the Ada ought dead to I. Not a coincidence. Well, is not a coincidence, I guess. So that's not S down there, I think. Pierre or report to, although this is too urgent to wait. So that's H. This is too, and that's U. It's too urgent to wait. So like the thing. That is W. Pair. Full report to follow. Backwards C. Pair. Full report to follow. This is too urgent to wait. But this is too urgent to wait. Arno and somebody both dead. That's going to be the Japanese guy, isn't it? Both dead. This is not a coincidence. Indeed, it seems. That's this one. Is it Yamada? Yamada? That Jamada, Kwamada, Vamada. It has to be Yamada, right? It's the only Japanese name that makes sense, yeah. Arno and Yamada both dead. This is not a coincidence. Indeed, it seems that all of us who came together in July. But now who is the mysterious person? Could it be V for... It's V for victory. Is it V? Do we think it's V? Would that mean it's done? No. Ah, I don't want to do that. What's going on? No. No, I've screwed up. What have I done? Ah! I've changed the letters without realising. Of course I have. Pierre, full report follow. This is too urgent to wait, so that's... Oops. Okay, so the letters we've got are Q, V, X, and Z. I don't know. Victor. Quincy. He's not the medical examiner. Xavier.
I have decrypted the note.
I don't know how she knows that that's the right.
Full report to follow.
That that's the right
That
translation.
this is too urgent to wait.
Apparently
Arno
she
and
does.
Yamada both dead. This is not a coincidence. Indeed, it seems that all of us who came together in July are in danger. Take great care. X. I wasn't the only one to make the connection between the costume killer murders. I'd been right all along.
Oh, yeah, it's not
That
like you're
was why he had asked to meet
like
me.
a Sherlock Holmes or
But
something.
what did I know that he didn't?
You're a journalist. Okay, so what did he know? Well, we don't know. But what we know is there's not really much else going on down here. There were some pictures on the wall actually that, like that, and what looks like a button. I wonder what they do.
A door like that always has something important behind it. I had to find a way to unlock it.
Well, there's
That
a
wasn't going
thing.
to help.
It's a button. Does this key work on it? I guess not, because she's doing that typical shrug of the shoulders. So I guess she doesn't agree. The bullet, the shell casing. No. I get the feeling I probably don't have anything in my inventory that'll do any good here. Nope, unsurprisingly that key doesn't work. Okay, I think we need to just leave, because I don't think we've got anything else we can do. So how am I going to get out of here?
The cross didn't drop back down. Some kind of mechanism was holding it up.
We can't... So wait, can we not do anything with it now? Well, does this help me get it back down?
The cross didn't need to be propped up.
Okay, yeah, but... Can we take that back now? Ah! That gets us out of here. Doesn't appear to be anything else we can do. But then again... There isn't even... She doesn't seem to have like an idea who's doing what or where they are or... I feel like I'm missing something. Put the cylinder back in there. I want to look another... Because we didn't look everywhere in that room. And it makes me think we've quite easily missed something. Let's turn the power on. This is a
slot next to the safe door. All I had to do
slot.
was find something to fit into it. It was like being back in kindergarten. All I needed now was a shape that would fit the slot.
Is it a triangle? No. Sorry.
The flags had faded, but their message was still pretty clear.
Their message?
Fascist regalia. A message of hate.
Fascism, guys. Actual fascism is concerning, but, you know. Often people seem to have an opinion of fascism that doesn't always meet what it actually is these days.
Don't you just hate it when that happens?
Don't you hate it when you accidentally pull a drawer out on purpose?
A photo, long lost, had fallen down the back of the drawer. It was very old,
It's about
but there was
Siamese
no
twins.
mistaking the
Full
guy
of
in the
Siamese
foreground.
twins.
Carchon,
After their separation,
behind
they
him
took
were
it hard.
soldiers, a burning village, and a corpse. The photograph was cropped on the right-hand side. Somebody else in the picture obviously didn't want to
It was
be in
cropped.
it anymore.
It was torn
I
in
wasn't
half.
surprised.
Let's be
This was
honest, it was
Africa in the
torn in
60s.
half.
An uprising was being brutally suppressed. And here was Mr. Media himself, Carchon, doing the suppressing. The photograph was not just powerful evidence. It was also my ticket to one explosive story. I had enough for a story. An amazing story that was going to make my reputation
Yeah, an amazing
and blow
story, guys.
Conchance to pieces. I needed to
Feel the
get home
beauty of that
fast
amazing story.
and start typing.
So we're at Nico's apartment. Appartement. Sorry, if you want me to stop with the French accents, I say no. No, I will not stop
Nico,
with these
it's Ronnie.
crazy
Hey, Ronnie,
French
you cracked open the
accents.
champagne yet?
No, I
Are
will,
you
'cause
crazy?
I'm very bad
What's
at it.
wrong? Wait a minute. You didn't print it, did you?
Of course I didn't print.
That's the best piece I've written.
Guy
The
doesn't print
last, as
anything,
far
does
as
he?
I'm concerned.
It's important.
It's suicidal. You can't destroy a national hero.
Why not?
You
He's dead.
deserved it.
His corpse isn't even cold.
Ronnie,
I do
2
know what you
hours
like.
ago I told
Touching
you
it?
what I'd found. You loved it. You begged me to write it up immediately.
2 hours is a long time in newspapers, Nico.
Someone's got to you, haven't
It would
they?
be if you read a
Listen
newspaper
up,
for
Nico,
2 hours. You
and
know,
listen
I
good.
thought you'd managed to read
Pierre
everything.
Carchon had a lot of friends. Powerful friends. For your own sake.
Forget what happened.
You got it.
Forget
End of
about it, huh?
conversation. Good night.
Conversation over.
This should have been my big break, but I knew there was nowhere else to sell this story. If Ronnie wouldn't print it, nobody would.
Unless you got somebody, like, somewhere else to print it. That wasn't concerned. Answer your phone. Your neighbours are really annoyed. Answer your phone.
Bonsoir, Collard.
Mademoiselle Collard, my name is Plantard.
Bonsoir.
I need to talk to you about your story. Your Pierre Carchon story.
How
No.
did you know about that?
There
Go
are people
away.
out there, madame, who will be very upset by this story.
Oh,
Sure they
really?
are.
Well, it's their lucky day. It's been spiked.
Yes, I know. We must meet.
We must?
I have
I
information
know.
relating to your costume killer stories.
I
Tomorrow
told
morning, 8 a.m., Café de la Chandelle Verte, Rue Alain Court. I shall be wearing a grey overcoat. You must talk to no one about
It's
this.
the man
you
in the
can't
grey overcoat.
tell me what to...
Tomorrow at 8. I'll be waiting.
He's waiting tomorrow at 8.
People complain about newspaper articles all
I'll
the
be
time,
waiting.
but not usually before they're printed. I was beginning to feel scared. This guy, Plantard, could I trust him? Should I meet him or forget
Did
the
he
whole
even
business?
tell us his
I
name?
didn't have an answer.
I don't remember him telling us his name. Am I just missing things?
I'd only been in
Uh,
Paris for a week, but
Hey,
already I'd
Georges.
fallen in love with the city.
Bonjour,
My latest
Georges.
discovery was a little cafe, La Chandelle
Ah,
Verte.
that's
I was pretty
terrible.
sure the waitress was taking a shine to me. That old
No,
Stobart
she's just
charm, I guess.
wanting money for food. She wants you to buy
Little did I
things.
know my reverie was about to be
Foolish
so
man.
rudely interrupted.
A clown with an AK-47. It's the classic bomb. Le boom. With old Georges. This is the broken sword I remember. This is the beginning.
As I picked myself up, I was really angry. 1 minute I'm on vacation, the next minute some clown's blown me up. I knew right away what I was gonna do. I was gonna find that clown and bring him to justice. Because justice matters. Justice is
just-
up there with liberty.
Is this
and
Americans
equality,
on holiday? Is
and,
that
fraternity, after all. That's why I'd studied law, wasn't it? Well, that and the money, of course.
it's American people on holiday? They have to like chase people down. Is that what it is? Hey, you guy! Get back over here, huh? Oh no, he doesn't have that kind of accent. Okay, so let's have a look at the scene of the explosion. Where we find a newspaper. Professor Ostwald, gagnant du Prix Nobel. So he won the Nobel Prize. De passage à Paris pour donner un cours. Don't know what that says because it's too small for my Eyes, les experts arrivent à la conférence de ponies? Conference of ponies?
The leading article referred to the visit of a Nobel Prize winner from some unpronounceable Eastern European state.
Professor Ostwald. It's not that hard to pronounce, guy. Le Tour Dernier. Rumeurs et potent de style.
The column was devoted exclusively to rumor, gossip, and sensationalism.
Do you know what's interesting? You can hear a difference in the audio quality. I think now that you're playing the original game parts, you can feel the newer parts seem like the director's cut parts seem like
I noticed
been
the
recorded
writing
in a
at the foot
better
of the
quality.
page. It read Salah Eddin, 1345.
Saladin, 1345. It's a horse race, isn't it? If I remember rightly. An assassinat brutal de Pierre Carchon, la nation en état de choc. Literally, brutal assassination of Pierre Carchon. The nation is in a state of shock. That's pretty obvious to read, though. So we'll take that newspaper, because it's ours now. Let's take a look over here. Oh, what do we have here?
I considered straightening the table, but I figured it best not to disturb the evidence.
That is probably wise. Let's go inside. It's amazing. An explosion blows out all this. Blows out the front window and the waitress is fine. Because of course she is. So I think it might be a bit early to think it'd be too early to do this? No, let's look around.
The sight of the dead guy's staring eyes turned my knees to jelly. I tried not to meet his stare as
Is
I
that
searched
jam
the
or
dead
jelly?
man's pockets.
That's
No
what I want
wallet,
to know.
no
Like
papers,
jam
no credit cards.
or
The guy's
jelly?
past was a blank page.
Yeah, jelly's got a little more firmness. Jam, well, if your knees were like jam, that would be really bad. My knees are like jam. You just get stuck everywhere.
Oh, my head. Never again. How much vodka did I drink? Oh, no, don't tell me. What is your name, Sherry?
George
Just gonna have an
Stobart,
explosive
ma'am. You
hangover.
look like you could use a little help.
I could use a little drink. I feel sick, dizzy,
Do you think you've had
and
enough?
bruised. I don't even remember the party.
Just relax and take it easy. You've been knocked out.
You don't say. What happened?
There's
You
been an
don't say.
explosion. You should try not to move.
Are you a doctor?
No.
No, but I used to play hospitals when I was a kid. Can you remember anything at all?
No. I need a drink. Pour me a brandy.
I'm not sure that's wise, but yeah, why
Is
not?
that straight or with ice?
Just give me the bottle with a teat on it.
I guess a little drop won't hurt.
It's the old baby bottle of brandy. It's such a ladylike
better.
swig.
She knocked back the brandy as if it was water. I was glad I wasn't picking up the check.
Oh, you want to have a conversation with her, and now she's unconscious on the floor.
Hey, wake up! She didn't respond.
Oh, come on,
If I wanted
drunkie.
another cappuccino, I'd have to serve myself.
Hey. The cappuccino.
I hope the fact that the mirror was already broken meant I'd escaped the bad luck.
That depends, you broke bits off it. Maybe you
The
have
mirror had smashed
fragments
into
of the 7
pieces.
years.
Bad luck for someone. Poor guy.
Making a spectacle of himself.
He was pretty mashed up.
So, are we going to look at the dead guy in the mirror
He was pretty mashed up.
instead of, like, looking at him properly? Can we wrap him in newspaper and serve him like fish? No. We're not really supposed to be in here anyway. Can't believe that. We fed her the brandy and she fell asleep. I can believe it, and I probably shouldn't have done it. Down here to the old workman. He likes to have a bit of a laugh with you, I believe. Hey, buddy. Oh no, it's the guy.
Please,
It's Inspector
hold it
Clouseau.
right there.
Oh, don't shoot. I'm innocent. I'm an American.
Can't make up your mind, huh?
I demand to see the American consul.
Drop your weapons and get down on the ground.
Put that thing away, Sergeant Moo. I apologize, monsieur, but I cannot permit you to leave.
Am I under arrest?
Ah, no, I would simply like to ask you some questions. En avant, to the café, marche.
Like we have any choice.
What a mess. This bombing is an outrage, is it not?
Stop that, monsieur.
Stop
Has
that,
it occurred
monsieur.
to you that he may be dead, Moo?
Oui, monsieur. But I prefer to look on the bright side. Besides, I recall a case where the killer escaped by feigning death. However, in this case, the man is quite dead.
Good.
Examine the girl and take her statement, if you can. Et maintenant, to business. Your name, please?
George Stobart. I'm from California.
And what brings you to Paris, Monsieur Stobart?
Airplane.
Travel. I'm touring Europe.
You chose well. The city is most beautiful at this time of year, no?
Yeah. I
Oui.
guess so. Apart from the bomb blasts.
Zoot,
Were you
hello.
in the vicinity of the cafe at the time of the explosion?
Yes.
Yeah, I was sitting out on the sidewalk.
I
I
planted
was
the
lucky I
bomb.
wasn't killed. The inspector passed over my remark with no reaction.
Did you see the deceased enter the cafe?
No, he was alive when he came in. So no, I didn't see the deceased enter the cafe. Did I? Did I see him? No, I was reading
No.
the newspaper.
Did you see anyone else in the cafe?
Yeah, there was a clown.
Yeah, there was a guy dressed as a clown. He was carrying an accordion.
An accordion? Bon. The picture is forming in my mind, and it is not a pretty one.
Could be a
Is the
mime.
girl all right, Moo?
She'll live if she survives the hangover. She doesn't remember seeing a clown, monsieur.
That's odd, don't you think, monsieur? Who am I to believe? I wonder.
Who am I to believe?
Eh
A
bien,
person who's
I have heard
stinking
enough.
drunk,
What do you mean?
I
or
am
a guy who's
satisfied that you know
perfectly
nothing.
sober?
You may leave. I hope this little incident does not spoil the rest of your vacation.
What about my personal safety? Can't you at least give me some advice?
What can I say?
Don't feed gremlins at
Stay
night.
alert and
Lord
look
Why
out for
don't like
suspicious
bright
character.
lights.
And don't cross the road until the little man shows green.
Great advice.
I honestly believe you are in no danger, monsieur. Should you remember anything of importance, please contact me. My card.
Sure thing. Thank you, Inspector.
Thanks.
That is all. You may go.
There's not much to go on, monsieur.
On the surface, no. But what
What
lurks inside the subconscious? If the door can only be opened.
Are you serious, monsieur? I thought your interest in psychic detection was purely academic.
It's Nico. And she's taking pictures.
Excuse me, mademoiselle? Hi. My name's George Stobart.
Oh, an American by the sound of it.
Yep, that's right. On vacation.
He might be
in
Canadian.
Paris. Some vacation, huh?
You were here when the bomb went off?
Sure was. Sat right out in front of the cafe.
Did you notice a middle-aged man, maybe 60, with a hat and overcoat?
I couldn't believe it. She hadn't even asked how I was feeling. Yeah, he went inside just before the bomb exploded.
So we did see
You
him, hang on.
weren't related to him, were you?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I'm Nico Collard from La Liberté.
What is that, some kind of nightclub?
Oh, no, it's
Yeah,
a
she would
newspaper.
announce herself
You're
as,
a
hey,
reporter?
my name's Nico
I'm a
Collard and I work at a
freelance
nightclub.
Say, you could interview
Really?
me about the bombing. An eyewitness account, minutes after the outrage that shook the whole of Paris. You know, real-life drama, human interest, that kind of stuff.
I'll just stick to the facts, thank you. Did you see who planted the bomb?
I know it sounds
was
crazy,
an elephant.
but he was dressed like a
With
clown.
10
A
legs.
clown. It's him again.
It's him again. Come now. So who's this?
Who was the guy you were supposed to meet?
His name was Planter. I didn't know him, but he called me last night. He said he had
His
a
name was
story which would
Planter.
interest me.
He asked me to meet him at the cafe. I guess I'll never know what he wanted to tell me.
Well, not unless you have Rosso's gift for psychic interrogation.
Let's see. Rosebud. Rosebud. That's a sled, by the way.
How did Plantard get your name?
Through the newspaper,
Oh,
La
the
Liberté.
rude Citizen
I'd
Kane
written an
for you.
article linking 2 unsolved murders, one in Italy, the other in Japan. The cases were remarkably similar. A wealthy victim, no apparent motive, and a costume killer. Plantard said he could supply me with more information. Well, somehow the clown must have known about our appointment.
Somehow the clown must have known about our appointment. That's a sentence that people presumably don't say very often. And it sounds strange whenever they do.
Do you know a police officer called Rosso?
Rosso? Our paths have a knack of crossing. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was deliberate. Have you seen Rosso? Is he here?
He's inside, attempting to question a witness with his psychic powers.
That guy is weird.
Yeah.
Is it that weird? I mean, you know, some random American sees a clown blow up a cafe, survives, doesn't have a scratch on him, and he's going to go hunting for the clown. But that's perfectly rational and normal.
Have you met the clown before?
It's a long story.
I have plenty of time.
I don't.
She doesn't have that much time, guys.
Why won't you tell me about the clown?
Why do you want to get involved?
Because he almost killed me. Isn't that reason enough?
They
I guess
didn't-
so.
He
Listen,
didn't kill you.
I'll give you my phone number. You help me with my story and I'll let
Yeah,
you in on what I
George.
know. And let's get one thing straight
On
right
vacation
now.
to Paris.
This is strictly business.
Okay,
And get
it's a
phone
deal.
numbers.
I have to go develop these pictures. I'll be on phone with you.
Fine. I'll
be in
see you
tow.
soon.
This is as good a place as any to wrap it up for tonight. We're in the what's going to feel like the beginning the next time we play this game. To a lot of people if they've not played the Director's Cut, but we have actually played for quite a while. Yes, so I think I'm quite enjoying revisiting Broken Sword. The Director's Cut stuff seemed interesting. It added a little bit to the story that I wasn't aware of. Unless somehow my version of the game when I was much younger was missing a massive scene at the front. It added a little bit to the storyline in terms of what Nico's kind of involvement is. And yeah, it was interesting. So we're going to stop here for now, guys. Stop here for tonight. We'll just make sure we're all saved as Supernautus as we need to be. Supernautius. I almost thought of choosing that name. Like Nautius Maximus. But he's not a real centurion. Not a real centurion at all. Not like big